Welcome back, everyone. Episode 18, Ally.
Subscribe to DMT Infinity for Death Note Abridged.
So the episode starts off at the task force's new base of operations. There's nothing all that exceptional about this opening sequence. It's really just there to showcase the new place, which I will admit looks pretty cool. Given Kidda's ability to control people's actions before death, and given the task force's lack of understanding on how exactly that works, they could very well be under the impression that Kidda could just have someone roll up on them and kill them.
You know, that is a very good point, actually. In fact, I didn't even think about that. I always liked the setup. The security protocols were always a great touch, but it did always seem to me like it went just a little bit too far. But you do make a really good point. They don't even know the extent of the Death Note. This is very necessary. L needs to be doing this. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Obviously, we know that's not an option given what we've learned from the rules, but regardless, I could still see them wanting to prepare for such a situation. Anyway, one more thing before we move on. There's this moment showing Watari in the control hub for the building.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm actually working on a Death Note Abridged series. If y'all haven't seen episode 1 yet, then go check out episode 1. However, that little scene of Watari sitting down there just with all the monitors there, I'm starting to come up with some ideas, if y'all see what I'm saying. I mean, we already had him up in the hotel room, right? Whenever he got the flash drive. We already know what Watari's about in my Abridged series. DMT Infinity, Death Note Abridged, 2023.
And whew, this setup is crazy. I thought I had a lot going on with my laptop and 2 monitors, but
dude, the fact that I had it paused right there, right before he did that little transition, threw me off just an extra level. That was such a good edit right there, my man. That was such a good edit. Please keep making these videos. Please, you haven't posted an episode in 2 months, man. I'm addicted to your Death Note analysis videos or over-analysis videos. I love these so much, man. Please, please finish the series. I will cover every single one of them, man.
Damn, Watts, you're over here like you're literally chilling in the Batcave.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, L himself isn't like his own person, right? I mean, the thing about it is that Watari is the puppet master. Watari was the one who groomed all of these kids into trying to create the next L. They're an extension of him. I mean, really, Watari is L in a sense. They are just as much the same person as they are their own individuals, but I mean, at the end of the day, whenever you really step back and look at the Whammy House and everything that Watari has done, I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked.
After a few hiccups with the metal detector, Aizawa finally meets up with the chief and Matsuda.
Good morning.
And as he walks over to them, the chief is quick to notice the bandage on Aizawa's forehead, to which Aizawa says,
"Oh, this? I had a little fight with my wife."
Which, right off the bat, my guy, are you okay? Like, is your wife hitting you?
You know, I never noticed that before. I never picked up on that, but that is a good question, isn't it? It's like, homie, you being abused by your girl or something? Like, what the fuck is going on? He's just over there like, no, ain't like that. I tripped and fell.
Yes, it's probably best if you sleep at home.
And Matsuda following it up with,
"Well, you're gonna be missing out. The rooms in this place are amazing."
Which is just, okay, that's all y'all gotta say? Whatever. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that I believe that Aizawa is being abused by his wife or anything. I think it was just meant to visually allude to the problems that exist in his marriage, as well as foreshadow things to come in this episode. But regardless, it just seems...
Personally, what I think is that it is just implied that something else happened because of the way that the scene plays out, because it is like, obviously the show isn't suggesting that he's actually being abused. However, it is funny to look at it like that. However, I do feel like the show is just implying just like, this isn't related to that exactly. It is just that this happened, which lead to other bad events. And look, I've just had a fucked up bad day. Just let's just continue from here, because we can already see he's not having a good day.
It seems odd to me how quickly it was just kind of dismissed by both of them. Anyway, Matsuda suggests that Aizawa move his family into the building, to which Aizawa responds by saying,
Yeah, that's easy for you to say as a bachelor.
and he has a point. I could totally understand having that mindset at 25 or 26. Like, wait, I get a whole floor to myself in this dope-ass building? And did you say, rent-free?
Fuck yeah!
Man, I just turned 26, and I gotta agree, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Sounds like a blessing worth having.
But the idea of moving my wife and my young children in here, one of whom's a baby,
And the other who's abusive as fuck, apparently.
just,
No.
Anyway, Aizawa asks where everyone else is, and Matsuda tells him that they're on a date in Misa's room. So we transition there, and Misa...
I just want to put this out there real quick. Misa Amane is a very misunderstood character. She really is. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. Let's go ahead and continue with Overanalyzing Anime, with Overanalyzing Anime's video Overanalyzing Death Note Part 18.
But yeah, Ryuzaki and Misa go back and forth regarding him being there for her and Light's date, with her basically saying, "You need to leave," and him responding with,
I'm good.
The conversation only really takes a turn when Light interjects, claiming Ryuzaki seems like he's unmotivated.
Not motivated. You're right. Actually, I'm depressed.
And while Light doesn't seem to understand why he'd be feeling that way, I totally get it. I mean, Ryuzaki had spent the better part of a year honing in on Light as a suspect, his main suspect. I mean, before Light volunteered to be incarcerated, Ryuzaki had old...
And on top of that, I mean, at this point in the story, he knows that Light is Kira. He just doesn't understand what the fuck is going on right now. He does not understand how why is Light acting different? Why is everything different? Why does this just not seem right? Why does it seem like I've stepped into a parallel reality? What is going on? I know this motherfucker is Kira. This is not right.
As Ryuzaki goes on to explain,
I can only conclude that Kira's power passes between people.
and if that's the case, it's basically like, what are we even doing here? I mean, we have to look at it from their perspective, removing all knowledge we have regarding the Death Note and how it works, because they don't have any of that information. I mean, as we saw in the previous episode, they're working under the assumption that it's as simple as wishing death upon a person. And if that's the case, and if, in addition to that, this power can also just be passed from person to person, then how would you even begin to tackle this? I mean, what good is there in catching Kira if Kira can then just immediately jump to puppeteering someone else? And hell, what do you do with the person who was being controlled? If Kira's power has left them and they have no recollection of ever having it...
I mean, I know that all of that is talked about in the story, but I mean, whenever you really think about it, I don't think he's stupid. I think he sees that something really shady is going on. I mean, Light literally came up in here himself to do this. I mean, obviously he's scheming something. L isn't stupid. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong about this, but if I'm not mistaken, the actual original creator of Death Note did state that L is the smartest character in all of Death Note.
Power has left them and they have no recollection of ever having it or using it, do you still execute them? Or do you put them in jail for the rest of their lives? Or do you just let them go because they literally have no idea what they've done? How much accountability should they have over their actions if they were being influenced by this entity known as Kira? And yes, I know that these two have always had their own agency and made their own choices, but remember...
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's actually debatable. I mean, does the Death Note have influence over the person who uses it? I mean, that isn't made 100% clear throughout the show. However, it does seem like it is highly suggested that it does.
It's so much to consider, too much, one might say, and that's not even factoring in the biggest question of all, which is, does Kira even exist as a real entity, or are they an actual god of death running around fucking with people? Because if that's the case, and that is very much a possibility, then...
What's the fucking point?
So, all of that to say, being depressed, or at the very least, extremely overwhelmed, makes sense in this situation. Luckily for Ryuzaki, I can help with that. Which brings me to today's sponsor, I'm sorry, I'm just fucking with y'all. This video is not sponsored by BetterHelp. I just wanted to see if I could
That would have been awesome, though.
Ryuzaki.
Huh?
Falcon punch!
So I love the fact that Light hits this man so hard that
What if this scene was changed up a little bit? What if all of that was actually just an act? What if L was testing Light just to see if he would snap or something, or just to see what he would say? And then the moment that he gets punched, he's like, Light, are you really not Kira? Or just something to that degree, to where in that moment it snaps like, even if you were Kira, somehow, some way, you're not Kira right now. Subscribe to DMT Infinity for Death Note Abridged.
Light reaches his limit and, well...
Ryuzaki.
Falcon punch!
So I love the fact that Light hits this man so hard that he also ends up sending himself flying by virtue of them being chained together.
Yeah, no, that really hurt.
Yeah, it was supposed to, my guy. This man was trying to United States of smash your ass with that one. But honestly, Light is pretty justified in cold clocking him like that, as he goes on to say,
You don't feel like doing anything, just because your genius deduction was wrong and I'm not Kira?
and yeah, that would also really piss me off, because bitch, I'm not Kida, and you're telling me that because I'm not Kida, you're upset? Fuck you.
Yeah, and just keep building one like that, where he literally just goes over and he's like, man, fuck you, dude. I thought we were friends, dude. And he just like keeps going on like that, right? Because like he really doesn't know he's Kira at this point, so he feels betrayed that that the dude who called him his best friend not that long ago is now saying all this shit, right? And then that is the moment where Elle is just like, oh my god, you are not Kira right now. Yeah, Death Note Abridged.
Light then goes on to chastise Ryuzaki for involving so many innocent people, as well as saying,
And more importantly, what was the point of putting Misa and me behind bars?
and I really like the fact that he mentioned that, because that's the kind of reaction I wanted to see from at least one of them. Like, bitch, you lied to me for weeks while having me tied up in a cell, all the while I was begging you to let me out, and now you want to act like this? Bet. Oh, you finna catch these fucking hands, Ryuzaki. But besides that, something worth pointing out is the fact that Light just swung on somebody, which is not something I feel like the old Light would have ever done, but this innocent Light does not care and is ready to throw down if he needs to.
You know, I never noticed that either, but I mean, like, normal without the Death Note Light is actually pretty fucking based, man. He's actually a pretty cool dude without the Death Note. I actually really like him as a character.
When the owner of the Death Note dies while the note is being lent, its ownership will be transferred to the person who was holding it at that time. Now, this is a big one. Not necessarily at this point in the story.
The Shinigami King's design is so fucking beautiful. I don't know how I'm going to write the Shinigami King, but I'm certainly going to do it justice. At least I'm going to try anyway.
And so they come to the consensus that whenever impossible circumstances are written, the person will just die from the default method of killing, which is a heart attack. And then we get this line from one of them that basically just kind of tells the group that he's Kira.
It's just like I was saying last week. If you want it to look believable, request accidental death or disease, and Kira will always find the quickest way to make it happen.
And there's a lot to take away from this. For starters, the issue I have with this isn't so much what he's saying, but how he's saying.
Oh my god, I'm going to have so much fun writing his character. Oh my god, you're so right. He is just like straight up admitting that he's Kira. Yeah, oh, he's going to be fun to write for. Absolutely.
Like, there's a certain level of confidence in his voice that none of the other members.
Also, if y'all would like to support this project, then y'all can simply donate to my Cash App at Cash App DMT Infinity.
After some back and forth, Matsuda finally makes his decision, saying,
Count me in. I'm gonna quit the police and chase Kira too, Chief.
which now means that Aizawa is the only one who hasn't made a choice.
Besides, if I stayed on as a police officer, I'd feel like a total loser.
Think before you open your mouth, Matsuda.
Right? Like, really though, Matsuda, read the room, my guy. Your boy is literally right behind you, stressing. Like, it's wild to me that he would be insightful enough to acknowledge that having a family might force you to consider sticking with the MPA, but then almost immediately after that, he makes this comment.
I'm not saying this as a joke or anything, I'm really not. In fact, I actually might implement something like this, and I'm not even 100% sure yet. I would have to talk to some people who know more about these things than I do. But does Matsuda have autism or something? Because if so, then that is something that is never brought up in the show, but those small little details might actually explain some of his behaviors.
But the chief has a family too.
Our situations are completely different.
And the chief is right. While their situations might seem the same at surface level, since they're both cops and both have a wife and 2 children, when you dig deeper, you find that their circumstances are vastly different. I mean, for starters, the chief is, well, he's a chief, and that comes with chief money. Furthermore, he's been doing this a hell of a lot longer than Aizawa, which means he's probably got—
Unlike you, I'm swimming in money. Like, my family is just so rich. Like, my fucking bathroom is made of gold, dude. Like, my toilet squirts water at my asshole. We are not the same. Oh, future me, write that down for the script. Oh my god. Oh, that is great. Oh, that is funny. Ooh. We are not the same, you and I. My family sits on a toilet made of gold. Alright, get out of here, Kenny. I'm dying here, dude. I'm fucking dying. This is great. Oh fuck, behind the scenes with DMT Infinity, writing the script for Death Note Abridged. Oh my god. Whew, fuck, if y'all ever wonder how the fuck I make this shit up, this is pretty much hell.
a decent amount of savings. In addition to that, while the chief does have 2 kids, they're much older than Aizawa's. I mean, one of his kids is here working on this investigation.
I'm dying. This bitch. Oh man, that's gonna be a good episode. Oh man, that's gonna be a good episode. Oh, I cannot wait to see the final result. Oh, I'm gonna do good on that.
It's just, it's not the same.
What kind of friend would I be to Ukita if I quit now? I became a detective so I could catch the bad guys, not run away!
And I really love the delivery of that line. You can hear the frustration and anguish in his voice as he tries to reconcile with the decision he knows he has to make. It's just, man, props to Trevor Duvall for his performance in this episode. And, random fact, he also voices one of the Yotsuba members.
Kira will kill that person using his default method, a heart attack.
Fascinating. I didn't know that. That's a pretty cool little effect there. Come on, man, bring back the series, dude. This is one of my favorite series, dude, for real. I love it.
Which I found hella interesting, because I feel like I'm pretty good at recognizing voice actors, and that one slipped right on past me. Anyway, it's at this moment that old Watani decides to jump in and drop some rather interesting information.
Ryuzaki, early on in the investigation, you specifically told me that if a task force member were to lose their job, I should make preparations to ensure that their family's financial future was secure.
And I love this. Like, Watani was...
And just this entire time, Watani's just like fucking jerking off to the entire fucking thing in the fucking room.
And then it gets even worse because as Aizawa storms out, Ryuzaki responds by saying,
"That's too bad, because I like you, Aizawa."
And it's just... like, I want to say that he means it, that he does actually like him. Like, maybe that's just really the type of person he is, and he just can't help it.
Well, I mean, considering how Ryuzaki grew up, I mean, it's really not surprising now, is it?
Before we wrap this scene up, I wanted to point out a fun fact, which is, Mogi did not speak at all during this entire scene. Just thought I'd point that out.
Oh my god, and then just that little slight hit turn, he's just like, huh, wait, what'd I miss? He's just like, the entire fucking time, he's just like been just zoned the fuck out. And just like, he just looks over, just like, huh, what'd I miss?
I can have a break every single week.
And he really wants to look at this as something good. He gets to be with the people that matter. Yes, avenging Ukita and bringing down Kira would be great, but this is his daughter, his daughters, and his wife. It's his family. This is what he should want. This is what he wants to want. But with each passing word, he finds himself shifting out of the denial stage and into the depression stage. And he just can't fake it.
Now I can go with you to the park. We can go to the zoo together, or the amusement park.
And it ultimately just cascades into him breaking down in front of his wife and daughters. A series first for any male character, by the way.
That is very possible that is what's going on, but that's not how I view that scene. The way that I view that scene is that he's genuinely happy for the first time in his life. That for the first time, he's finally having his dreams being made a reality. So that whenever he's saying all of this, we can finally do all of these things together and all that. That's why he's crying, because he knows that this is now his life. He made this decision that even though that he had to sacrifice the Kira investigation, that it was in better hands than his anyway. And he just kind of had to accept that, and then he goes on to do better and greater things, and then by proxy of that, he even ends up being one of the reasons why one of the Kiras get caught. One of the biggest reasons, in fact.
That's the end of this episode. If you liked this video, then consider dropping a like, and if you really liked it, then consider subscribing. Anyway, that's it for this time. Until next time, friends, peace.